understanding what the trajectory, what the contours of the future look like are in your hands. You have the contours of the future in your hands. The choices that we made 30, 40, 50 years ago, when our rivers were on fire, when our lakes were inaccessible, when we couldn't eat the fish, when we couldn't enjoy the relationship with the water, when our cities had their backs to the water, were choices people made 40 and 50 years ago. They didn't understand, and they knew at the time that that wasn't going to be a 5-minute, 10-minute, 2-hour, 2-week, 2 months, 2 years effort, but that's taken us 30, 40, and 50 years to get to this point. On my way over here today, as I was walking down the waterfront, a beautiful piece of a restoration of a city's relationship with its great natural resource asset, its river, I watched a man fish, and I saw him actually catch a fish. Sometimes you see people fishing and not always catching. He caught a fish, and that was either breakfast or lunch or dinner. And I thought that was a beautiful thing, because 40 or 50 years ago, we would not have seen that, and if we had, we would have been worried about that. This river has changed a lot, but it changed because people didn't accept what they were handed. Our parents didn't accept what was handed to them from before and said, we're going to start the efforts. And that was not easy work. You can imagine that wasn't easy work. And it wasn't all simple, and it wasn't all linear, and it wasn't all smooth, and it wasn't without fights, and it wasn't without going backwards at times and then going forwards. There are times when you may not feel you're winning. How many of you feel that? Right? That every day you're not necessarily moving ahead in that fashion that you wanted to when you woke up. But I want to keep putting yourself to that world that says what you were handed is not yet good enough, that we need to replumb this system. That's not just with more pipes and pumps, but that's replumbing it with the kind of care and thinking that we know now drives ecological integrity, drives community, drives social cohesion. These are the transformational elements that we think things like green infrastructure bring us. It's not just about water and moving water and saving a few dollars here and there. It's about transforming communities and people and understanding the context of which we manage water and how that plays out over time. That's the palette that we have. That's the contour of the future that we continue to get. The riverfront isn't only a good place to play, but it's a place where community gathers. It changes the heart. This park is a reflection of the heart of a community. We call it green infrastructure, but it's really about this contour. When you were a child, I'm going to ask a couple of quick questions. When you were a child, who believed in you that you could change the world? When you were in high school, who encouraged you to do important things? And as an adult, as you get up every day and go to work, in your first job, when you were first hired, full of eagerness and passion and inspiration and hope, who believed and said, you can change the world? I want to tell you that every day you do that, you can. I believe in you that you can change the way that we do things. That doesn't happen in a minute, that doesn't happen in an hour, that doesn't happen in a day, that happens in a decade. And that happens on winning every piece that you can win. That changes when you work with a client and you help a client understand how to think about the world a little bit different than they had thought about it previously. That happens when you get to make decisions, whether you're on the city council or you're on the board and you help your organization understand how to change the way it thinks about something like managing water off of their parking lot. That doesn't feel like transformation, right? One at a time. But the Great Lakes are in a better shape because we thought this way. And people before us thought this way. And philanthropies thought this way. And cities thought this way. And we all engaged in the hard work of transformation. Green isn't about infrastructure. In fact, I hate that word. I'll tell you why in a minute. Green infrastructure is about rethinking the way that we manage water on the landscape. And the way we manage water on the landscape drives 4 things. It drives ecological integrity. how the system functions, the health of the system. That man can fish and eat a fish knowing it's safer than it was before. It drives economic prosperity. We hear the economic values and gains of the kinds of transformational work that we do, and I give you some examples of that. But it also drives social transformation. It drives how we think about ourselves differently in relationship to the environment in which we operate. A river trail does that, right? City, those are the transformational elements. It's human and experiential, and it drives culture. We are the Great Lakes people. We have to act like the Great Lakes people. And we do that a parking lot at a time. We do that a roof at a time. We do that a driveway at a time. We do that a park at a time. That may not feel big and transformational, but I guarantee you in 30 years, in 40 years, when that river is even better than it is, and the Great Lakes are even better than they are, people will look back and say, how did they do that? Where did that come from? Who had the drive and the desire to be the change and be the transformational person or entity or element that did that? So I believe that you can do that, and I hope you were encouraged in your life, but if you haven't been, I'm encouraging you now. Every day I want you to get up and be that person that drives that change forward.